Guys, welcome to Beyond Bricks. I am your host, Kevin Stewart, and I am super excited to be here with you today. Guys, I've got my Augusta green hoodie on today. This time of year is so exciting. There's something about the Masters tournament and the kickoff to the golf season that just gives me so much extra pep in my step. I get so much energy and excitement from the kickoff of the golf season. And there's something just special. I mean, the hello friends from Jim Nantz at the beginning, it gives me chills all the time to think about. And this time of year is so exciting, watching the seasons change, coming into Michigan and having our cold go to not so cold, where you can wear a hoodie like this outside without a jacket. That just brings me so much extra energy. And it's the Masters week and the weeks surrounding the Masters that when we really start to feel that. And so I've got extra energy coming in today because of the beauty outside and the sunshine that's shining down upon us right now and the excitement of surrounding the Masters. And so I've got some extra joy and some extra excitement today. I hope you can feel that. I hope you can hear that energy because today I'm going to talk about a topic that is the biggest blessing I've had in my life. These two kids right here are the greatest blessing I've ever had. And anybody who's been a parent and had the joy and blessing of being a parent knows why you can hear the crack in my voice, because these two kids right here, I would do anything for. They are the joy of my life. They're the legacy that I'm going to leave behind, and everything that I do, I want to do for them. And so today I get the chance to talk with you guys about my journey and a little bit about what I believe are some of the joys of parenting and what do our children actually need from us? What is it that my two kids need from their dad? What is it that about parenting that is so important? And what do we need to leave to our children? What really is that? And it's an exploration that I'm excited to chat with you guys about today because it's something that I believe is so important for this world. Parenting and the ability to parent is a blessing. And I believe that this world needs better parents. So much of the things that are going on in this world and so much of the negativity and the bad in this world, I believe comes down to not having great parenting and people not focusing on raising their children in the right way. And I want to somehow be an example of how that should be different. Now, my wife, I can tell you, is a superstar. She's a phenomenal parent. The reason I believe our kids are so good and are growing up the way they are is because we have a two-parent household, and that is an amazing blessing. We have differences. We have our strengths and our weaknesses. Myself and my wife, we both have different things that we bring to the table. And I can tell you there is no way that my kids are who they are without the incredible parenting of my wife. She is the best mother out there. She's phenomenal. She's so good with our children. But parenting is challenging. The reality is parenting has changed over the years. I look back and I think back to when I was young and how I was parented. And I can tell you for sure, I am who I am because of my parents. My parents are an amazing blessing. I couldn't have been gifted better parents. Their support for me throughout the course of my life, throughout my childhood, the way they brought me up, the way they raised me, the way they sacrificed for me, I could never say thank you enough to my parents and ever have it reach up to what they've done for me. So the reason that I'm able to, I believe, parent at a high level is because I was given a great example of what to do. I was shown and I was taught every day without even knowing it what the right thing to do is to be a parent. But parenting is different nowadays. So I looked it up because somebody asked me this question the other day. I'm born in 1983. I'm 42 years old. And I am in this very strange generational gap. I am in this odd generational gap. In fact, I look it up. I am called an exennial. An exennial. I know that's super weird because I'm between Generation X and the millennials. I am that weird spot right in between an era that had almost no technology to the era now that is technology everywhere you see. That has changed. It's changed the way that parents focus and the way that parents help their children grow. So as I'm thinking back and I go back into, some of the why I am the way I am and thinking through the core memories I have and the core beliefs that I have and where those came from, a lot of them come obviously from my childhood. But I believe that a lot of the reasons I believe what I do is because I grew up in an analog world. It's now digital, but I grew up in an analog world. We did not have, for example, I never had video games growing up. We didn't have them. It just wasn't something that we had in our house. I got to play the occasional video game when I would go to my friend's house, but video games is not something I have. My son, on the other hand, he loves video games. He just was gifted from a friend of mine his first Xbox. Holy cow, Jesse is so jacked up on learning how to play his Xbox. And so what am I doing now? I am learning to play video games. I'm actually kind of excited about it because I want to do things side by side with my son. I want to do things that excite him, not just the things that excite me. And so I'm going to learn how to play some video games for the first time in my life. But when I was young, we didn't have those things. I think back in the core memories of when I would go and hang out with my friend Adam. My friend Adam, we would, after church, we would get together and we would always want to go play to each other's houses, and we would go to his house and we would ride bikes. I'm thinking back, this is probably, I couldn't be more than 8 to 10 years old, about the age of my son now. And we would go and we would ride bikes all afternoon. We would go up to the corner store. I mean, we're talking like a half mile to a mile away, driving on the side of the road on our bicycles at 10 years old with $2 in our pocket so we could go buy some candy and then ride our bikes back. You don't see that nowadays. I think about when my son's out playing outside and the way that we parent in the world that we live in right now. And hey, Jesse, you got to stay within sight of the front window. We need to be able to see you. So they ride their bikes around the little cul-de-sac. When I was a kid, dude, we were rolling out. We were all over the place on our bicycles. That's just the way it was. I would come home and I would play all day, every day outside. I couldn't wait to get outside, go knock on the doors of my friends. Everybody would run outside and we'd all play a game. We'd play a sport. It didn't matter. We were doing something of physical activity. That's just the way I was raised. I think it's a lot of what made me who I am. I believe that's a good thing. But it's because I grew up in this generation where we didn't have the excess media. I remember when the internet first showed up, when you had dial-up internet. I remember the first computer we had in our house and still can hear the sound of it trying to connect to the internet. I remember that. I remember it vividly. I remember when the iPod first came out. I remember when the iPhone first dropped. I remember when flip phones were a thing. I remember all of these things and had these great experiences growing up to what we have now in the digital age. And I believe that one of the challenges to parenting right now is that the access to information and the access to all of the technologies that we have, to a degree, in my opinion, makes parenting tough. And I think it makes parenting even more important. I think it's super important. And the reason that I go back to, again, the reason that I believe I'm able to parent in the way I am right now is because of the example of my parents. I think back again on more core memories, the core memories of driving to basketball practice with my father and him taking me early morning to basketball practice when he probably didn't want to get up, and he would take me, be freezing cold outside, and he would take me to basketball practice. The conversations that we have and that we would have inside the car. Guys, now a big part of my morning routine is making sure that I drive my son to the bus stop so that we can have some similar conversations. I love that time in the morning. I love it because of my father. I think back on the sacrifices that my parents made, the small things that they did for me that I didn't realize at the time. My dad may not like the fact that I'm going to tell this story, but my dad sacrificed his whole life working for Rochester, what's now Rochester Christian University. He gave of his time because he loved what he did. The amount that I have caught in my life because of what my dad did without saying it, just by being the man that he was, made me who I am today. My father dedicated his life to Christian education. It was super important to him. He sacrificed so much to send me to Christian schools all growing up. I still to this day have tried to do the math. Dad, I have no idea how you did it, but I'm so grateful you did. I'm so grateful that you sacrificed because it was important in making myself and my sister who we are. But my dad got a small amount of vacation time. Every year we would go on vacation to Mackinac. To me, Mackinac Island was where you went on vacation. I don't remember this, but they told me the story of when I was young, we went to Disney one year. They surprised us. I can see the photo in my face of my face at Christmas where I'm trying to read the card, but my sister Beth is reading it for me, and I can still picture the look on her face from the photos that I've seen of saying, we're going to go to Disney for the first time. We drove down to Disney and we experienced that for the first time. I remember getting back and I said, okay, well, Dad, when are we going on vacation? And he's like, we just went on vacation. I said, no, Dad, that was a trip. Mackinac is vacation, because that's what we did every year. We still do that every year as a family. It's a core memory. But we had a certain amount of vacation time. And my dad had a certain amount of vacation time. Every single year at Christmas time, my dad would go work for Mitzelfeld's. After Mitzelfeld's closed, he worked for Staples. He worked for Office Max, but he would go and he would take 2 weeks of his vacation time to go work a second job with his paid vacation time, pick up some extra work so that we always had the best Christmas we could. That's sacrifice for your children. That is so far beyond what's normal in this world. And I was given the childhood I had because of the sacrifices that my father made. And the things that I have learned from that, and the man that I've become and the father that I've become, is because he was teaching me without saying a word. There's a wonderful country song that talks about that you didn't have to say a word. I learned it because I watched you. I watched the man that you were, and I learned the things that I am and became who I was just by observing and watching who you were. That is what's made me me. My dad was teaching me so many things without saying a word because I got to watch the man that he is. And I got to watch the things that he did and the things that were important to him. And it built the core nucleus of who I am. And now gives me the opportunity to say, I have some big shoes to fill with my kids. I have some huge shoes to fill to help make these two beautiful children the best people they can be. And I need to live up to the standard of my father. I have to live up to the standard of who he is. And I'm so grateful that I have that example in my life. Those are core memories that I will never forget. But it doesn't change the challenges. It doesn't change that parenting is a super difficult thing. It's a very difficult thing. And again, especially in today's world with technology and iPads and computers and video games and TV and everything at your fingertips and at one touch away from something else and something else and something else. Children have so much at their disposal now that I believe parenting has never been more important. The ability to show and be an example to your children every single day is the most important job we have. It's the most important job I have. And showing that example and breathing into their lives and making sure that we raise our children right in a world that is not making it easier, is making it more difficult, is an extremely important job and one of the greatest challenges that any of us will ever overcome. So what is it? Where do we go from here? Where do we go as parents? And what are some things that we need to focus on in order to be better parents. So I have 3 things that I wrote down, 3 things that I believe our children need from us. I want to take this from the perspective of, what do our kids actually need? What do they need from their parents? Because there was things that I was taught growing up that at the time I didn't realize that I needed. But now looking back in the rearview mirror, going through the process of constantly remembering the joys and the small nuances and the wonderful things that I was taught from my parents, has helped my brain learn what I need to make sure that I'm instilling into my children. So there's 3 things that I believe us as parents, that children need from us as parents. The first one, and this is the one that I see a lot, and I think is a core nucleus of a lot of the trouble that's going on in the world today, is that our children need us to heal ourselves first. We all carry baggage. Every single person I know, every friend I have, every single person I've ever had a conversation with, in some way, shape, or form has baggage. We all have things that have happened in our life, that have gone on, that have formulated who we are. But all of us, to some degree, carry baggage. Some people's baggage is bigger. You may have baggage that you feel you can't move past. But if you don't find a way to fix yourself and fix that baggage, it is going to become your children's. If you don't overcome yourself and heal your wounds, your children will be the ones who have to overcome you someday. I'm going to say that again. That's a quote that I've heard and I wrote down. If you don't overcome yourself and heal your wounds, your children will be the ones who have to overcome you someday. Whew. If that's not a challenge in and of itself, I don't know what will be. Because so many children take on the wounds of their parents. They take on the baggage of their parents without even knowing it. They carry that with them, and children somehow have to find a way to heal the wounds of their parents. Guys, that is not fair. Our children need us to heal ourselves. They need us to be better. They need us to focus on ourselves, to make ourselves better for them. So the first thing our children need us to do is they need us to heal. They need us to heal the wounds of our past. They need us to forgive ourselves. They need us to forgive people around us. They need us to forgive the things that are happening in the world. They need us to move past that. That is so important in the phases of growth for your children. Have you healed yourself? Have you taken the time to look inside and find the places that you need to fix to be better? I was listening to a song as we were getting ready to film today. A song came on and I wrote down the quote inside it. Jelly Roll is a very good, actually fairly profound artist. If you really listen to a lot of his music and you listen to the things that he is putting into the world, it's about healing. His music is about the healing process of the human soul. And if you watch this documentary, or if you read up any on Jelly Roll, you will find he has an incredibly colorful past. Incredibly colorful. Healing from that past has been the path that he's on now. And his music speaks heavily to how to heal from what you're going through and what you've been through. Just because you've been through it doesn't mean it has to define who you are moving forward. The line, and that's actually the key of the song, says, "I'm all right with what's wrong with me." Are you all right with what's wrong with you? We all have things that are wrong. We all have things that are not right for us. But are you okay with it? Are you okay with not being perfect? Are you okay with the imperfections that you have? Because if you can't learn to move past those things, they're going to pass on to your children. Are you healing yourself first? That's the first thing I believe our children need us to do. The second thing they need us to do is they need us to frame life for them. Now, framing a life for someone is different than laying it out. I've witnessed and I've seen parent-children relationships that have completely crumbled and completely fallen apart because the parent tried to decide the exact path for their children. They decided that they wanted and expected their children to do this, that, or the other thing. They didn't lay out a framework. They laid out a full path. I don't believe our children need that from us. I believe our children need us to lay the framework. They need us to just put the parameters around what we believe life should look like. They get to make the painting. They get to do all the work on the inside and decide what the masterpiece is going to be. But we have to be willing to put the framework around them to help them learn how to be a good person, to put the framework of developing the non-negotiables of their life, of the people they want to spend their time with, of the world they want to surround themselves with. Guys, that's the framework for what life can be. Our children need us to just teach them and show them that framework. It's extremely important. And then we have to support what they decide to put inside the painting. We have to support that. There's a great story that I heard a while back from some folks that I know here in town. They own a local coffee shop. And it's called the Dessert Oasis. Wonderful coffee shop. If you haven't been there, you should. But the family that started that, it's a beautiful story of supporting your children for what they want. When they first started the coffee shop, Nathan, the son, was really getting into coffee. He was developing coffee and he wanted to make coffee at a high level. His sister, she was actually a performer. She loved playing guitar. She loved singing for people and wanted to become a music artist. Their father is an attorney. He's a lawyer by trade. This is a beautiful way of creating framework for your family. What happens a lot of times is people that are in those types of industries, lawyers and things of that such, they want their kids to be a lawyer just like them. They want them to follow in their footsteps. That's not what he did. He listened. He heard the passions and saw the passions of his two children. And so what did he do? He said, guys, we're going to open a coffee shop. I'm going to put up the money and we're going to open a coffee shop. Nathan, you are in charge of the coffee. You need to make this the best coffee around. You're in charge. You're going to make the product. And then told his daughter, we're going to put a sound stage in and you're going to have a place that you can sing and you can bring in entertainment into our coffee shop. You're in charge of that. You're in charge of that. And I'm going to handle the finances. They have built a multiple coffee shop and now distribution for their coffee and have built an incredible family business that now has multiple layers deeper than that. It's a story that I love because it's a way to support your children for the passions that they have and the talents they've been given. That's letting them paint the painting, but allowing the framework to be in place, helping them put the framework in place. That is what our children need from us. That is an incredible example of great parenting that has done so much for people around us because he was willing to let his children do what they were passionate about. Our children need us to build that framework. Cinderella is an awesome movie. I don't know if you've watched it. We're big Disney fans. Our family, my kids love Disney. We're big Disney fans. And one of the best live action movies, actually, I would say it's probably the best live action movie that Disney's done, is the Cinderella story. It's wonderful. I've watched it over and over. I think it's a beautiful movie. But there's a line inside that that is passed down from the mother to Cinderella, and it helps make her who she is. And it's one of the core pieces of the movie, which says, have courage and be kind. That was the overarching framework of what Cinderella based her life on, was have courage and be kind. Guys, it's so simple and so beautiful, and is a beautiful example and a great example of creating an awesome framework for your children that they will remember forever. The last thing, the third thing that I believe our children need from us is we have to teach them that they can. We have to teach our children that anything is possible. My children are going to watch this, and I hope that they know that I believe they can do anything. I know they know, and I'm going to continue to tell them that they can do anything they want to do. I absolutely believe in my children. My son right now says that one day he is going to be a Lego brick master. He wants to go on Lego Masters, and he wants to win that show. I believe he can do it. I absolutely believe he can. If he decides that that's something he's going to do, I will do whatever I have to do to support that because it's important to my son. He loves it. He loves building Legos. And I'll tell you what, guys, he's stinking good at it. It is super impressive to me how good he is at it. My daughter, she's 4 years old. I'm not sure what she wants to do yet. She's still working on that. I can tell you it's awesome watching her stand up on a table and sing. I've got some incredible videos that I will cherish forever of her singing songs to me, going over and plucking on a guitar in the house and singing songs and making up songs on the spot to dad, asking me to come home because she misses me. These are memories that I'll have forever, but I have to tell my children on a daily basis that they can do anything that they put their mind to. Us as parents, we have to take the stance of full out encouragement. We have to take that stance of encouraging our children to do what they're passionate about, to do what they love to do, and to do things along the way that are tough and difficult, but to tell them they can do it. A lot of parents don't do that. I see them tell and almost break their kids down the other way. And it's devastating to watch. Our children need us. They need us to believe in them. I am where I am because my parents, my dad and my mom, my grandfather, everyone that helped raise me told me I could do it. I know my parents believe in me. They are my biggest cheerleaders. They're my biggest fans. They listen and they share this podcast more than anybody. They always do because they support and love me. My whole life, they've told me that I can do whatever I want. And the reason that I'm able to do the things I do is because it's instilled into me that I believe in myself because my parents believed in me first. It's why I am who I am. Because of them. And I hope and I pray that I can pass those same things to my children because they need it. Our parents, our children need us to believe in them. Guys, we all have beauty in our lives. We all have amazing things. And if you get the opportunity to be a parent, I hope that you take it seriously. I hope that you can find ways to every single day work on yourself, heal your wounds, create a framework for your children, and then tell them they can do anything. Find a way to do that because not only does the world need you, the world needs your children. And it's on us to make sure that we develop our children into being the people that this world needs. Guys, I hope this was helpful for you today. I hope that you're given the blessings of having children and seeing and watching them grow in beautiful ways because it is the greatest blessing in life. I'm so grateful that you guys were with us today. And as always, go out into the world, be who you are because the world needs you to be yourself. Have a good day, guys. Bye.